Yeah, and Raila has expectations of being the flag bearer, but Moi brings in young Uhuru, as he then was, who is a novice and has just been nominated and also made a minister, and makes him a flag bearer. And Raila leads a walkout by KANU heavyweights.
Yes. So you once again you get in. Who was your competition at this time, or who are you running against? And was it a landslide now?
Yes, it's going to be a landslide, and I'm running against the late Harry Mugo, whom we christened in Kikuyu. Instead of Harry, Nare. Nare means in Gichugu, no. Nada. So his name, the morning we gave him no more, no, meaning no votes for him. Nare more. That's what my supporters had christened him. So my main competition was Harry Mugo.
Yeah. And the second time running is easier than the first.
There were 7 people. And in DP, I had no opponent, so I didn't go through nominations.
You instantly got the ticket.
It was an easy, whatever, getting this ticket, but there were now people in other parties.
Yeah.
And it was much easier, especially because of not only representation in parliament, not only standing up to KANU, because people like that, but also because of the developmental projects.
Okay, let me ask her again. I'll throw in some controversial questions.
This time I got 32,000.
And out of?
I can't remember.
Okay.
The others had far behind.
What percentage was that?
If you Google, you'll say they had not even gotten to 10,000. So it's like you are alone.
From the party ticket, is it possible for to get into the party? What I hear these days, and one of the biggest problems that leads to corruption down the line, is the difficulty in getting the nomination, the amount of money you have to.
Mwai Kibaki's party had no corruption in nomination. That is why, after being rigged of party elections in Fodasli and I go to DP, I easily get the ticket. I find other contenders. But the nominations are clearly free and fair and very simple.
And is it stipulated beforehand?
It's private ballot, whatever, secret ballot. We are in a church compound and people come to elect us. And I get 1,000 votes while my nearest competitor has 160. You see? Yeah. While their votes put together are not 300, I'm over 1,000. Yeah. So you win clean and you become the party's flag bearer.
Okay. Yeah. I know, and I'm not saying that this was happening in the party, but I just know some of the difficulty that people have faced in today's election. I don't know about back in the day.
In DP, I was the secretary to the electoral board as the legal secretary for constitutional affairs, the secretary for legal and constitutional affairs, and we entertained no rigging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And not even just rigging, even the price that needs to be paid for you to even have the opportunity to be on the ballot for nomination.
And that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And when we went to NARC NARC in 1992, after my nomination, which was quite contested in Kirinyaga, again there was Nari Mugo and several others, and that time the one who was coming as the runner-up was Dr. Joseph Goto, not even Harry Mugo. I came to become one of the 2 panels doing the appeals on nominations at the Mwenge House.
Nice.
The other was Martha Karua Co, now Chief Justice. And I remember one case from Kirinyaga where the comptroller, the Matere who later became comptroller, had been defeated in the nominations by Karaba. But Matere was in Kibaki's inner circle. So somebody, because I have to be truthful, it's not Matere who told me that Kibaki has said he be given the nomination. It's a third party. In fact, one of the senior people in Mwenge House. And I knew Kibaki would not do that. So I called him and I asked him, is it true that you have said Matere be given the nominations? He didn't say yes or no, he just thundered, give it to the winner. And and we gave it to Karaba. So we had cases like Matu Amai had a case against Gachagua. Gachagua, the brother now who became the governor, because he had defeated him in Madeira, and Amai was very close to Kebake. We had the case and we dismissed it, and Gachagua got his ticket. A case of Embu, Sicily against Wambora, who later became governor also. Wambora, in those two cases, the complainant had been defeated by just 500 votes. So they were saying they have been defeated by 500 votes, it's rigging, but after examining and that their opponents bribed. So we asked them, did you give money yourself? Yes. So would you have complained that he gave money if you had won? Yeah. No. So you just dismissed, and I was telling Cicely not to begin the career with fraud, to just accept, and we get her nominated as a youth, which we did when NACO won.
Wow.
Yeah.
Martha, is it possible in today's day and age to do politics clean?
Yeah, it is possible. It's been messed. We've got to bite the bullet and do it clean. And I must admit, because I must not lie, that in 2007 and in 2022, yes, like others, when the voters demanded for chai, I gave. But I would always give a disclaimer. When they say they want tea, I would say, I will give tea if it is there, but I do not want your vote because I have given you tea or soda. I want your vote because you are convinced I am the best candidate to do your work. You know?
Okay.
So we've all been dirtied by that politics.
Including the expectation from the voter.
In the presidential run of 2012, I didn't give a cent. But later on, I did 2007. The DC who was in charge of my area and who was a college mate came and told me, the intelligence reports are showing you're ahead, but that they are also showing that there is discontent among the youth. They're asking, how come your opponents who have never been employed are now are able to give them some handouts? You are not giving, and since you are in government and a minister, your salaries have gone up. They are calling you tight-fisted. So he suggested to me, stop those harambes you are doing, like 3 harambes in a weekend, giving 300,000, 100,000 in each harambe. Stop that. Break that money and give it to the youth. Wow. And that's when I did it. He told me, you are going to lose this election, not because you should have lost, but because everybody is giving money and you're not. So that's when I started doing the disclaimer and giving the people. You
had to adapt.
Yeah, I would give somebody, I would tell them that since we have not shaken hands after a meeting, I'll tell them to form a circle. They come greeting me, and then somebody next to me gives them the 100. I was able to notice people in torn T-shirts and all that, and we used to carry now T-shirts, and there will be somebody observing how people are dressed, and if somebody looks like they're really in need of something better to wear, they're given a T-shirt. So we are now giving T-shirt not just to brand, but to ensure that somebody who needs extra has gotten. Yeah, I greeted a lot of people that year.
Okay, I'll jump over this 1997 era. Not jump over, just quickly pass over it. So you win again, because I want us to get in the 22.
I win again. We come back to Parliament. We have started the legislation, although Kanu amended it the way we did in Want. In 1997, after IPPG, a law was passed for constitutional review. We rejected it in 98 because it was not all inclusive, and we started the Safari Park, what they were calling the Safari Park process. Meeting the Inter-Parties Parliamentary Group, now a new one, civil society, sitting down now to craft a law for making the constitution. And we make it in 1998, and a 15-member committee is formed to draft the legal framework, the law that will guide constitutional review. In that committee, we argue and they accept, that out of 15, 5 must be women. So of the women was myself, Professor Wanjiku Kabira, there was Abida Ali, there was Martha Karua Co, and who? We were 5, I'll remember. Yeah, so we were 5 of us, and we helped draft the law. And that law, we made sure now, they've already accepted kind of like a gender quota, because in the committee, it was called the Sulumeti Committee, Bishop Sulumeti was chairing. So the law we made, we had stipulation that all the organs of review must have 1/3 as women.
That's
okay?
That, yeah.
So the commissioners, the county committees, and also the Constituent Assembly, the National Constituent Assembly. So that's how the gender quota became a theme in constitutional review, and ended up being a theme in the Constitution.
In fact, I thought it only came in the Constitution.
No,
I didn't know about, yes.
I must say we were not working alone. Even during the IPPG, although I was the only woman in the Constitutional Committee, I was working with the Women's Political Caucus, an umbrella, unregistered umbrella for the women's movement. It had Maendeleo, it had FIDA, it had the League of Women Voters, which I chaired. It had all those organizations. So we would caucus on the side, and I take the representation. So I cannot claim credit for the good things that happened, like sharing of the nominated seats. It's supported by the women's movement. Yeah.
At this time, I've not had the mention of the next 2 presidents. I've not had the mention of Uhuru Kenyatta or our current president right now.
Uhuru is not on the scene in 1997.
He is not.
He comes in 2001 when he is appointed, when Mark Arabto resigns as a nominated MP, and Uhuru replaces him. And then he is appointed to cabinet as local government minister.
Yes.
And at that time, in quick succession, Raila's NDP has gone into partnership with KANU, and later merges with KANU, and Raila is appointed Secretary General of KANU in place of JJ Kamodo, the late, who was the Secretary General.
Yes. And also Minister of Education.
Yeah, and Raila has expectations of being the flag bearer, but Moi brings in young Uhuru, as he then was, who is a novice and has just been nominated and also made a minister, and makes him a flag bearer. And Raila leads a walkout by KANU heavyweights, who included the Vice President George Saitoti, who included William Nitimama, who was a minister, who included Kamodo, who was a minister, who included Henry Kosgei, and many others. They have walked out.
Explain to me your
thoughts. And I'm not so sure about Henry Kosgei, but I'm remembering the others. So they have walked out. And although we felt, as the opposition betrayed when Raila went to merge with KANU, we realized just how beneficial it was when he led a large walkout. The way the country used to think Moi can never be defeated, everybody realized now this is our chance. It's like this Gen Z uprising, which we must see as our time. And everybody, on everybody's lips, they were saying, this time we must have change. So Raila comes out, and they enter a party called LDP, which he had in his sleeve, together with the people they have come out of KANU, and they start talking to Mwai Kibaki, Charity Ngilu, and Wamalwa.
Ngilu had NAK Kenya?
No, they had formed National Alliance Party of Kenya, NAK, N-A-K. NAK, so the LDP group comes, and together they form NARC. They add National Rainbow Coalition.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Because it now have become a rainbow coalition, it has even people who have come from KANU. So Raila gifted the country have a good chunk of KANU leaving KANU, a shell of itself.
Let me ask, what, in your view, what was the rationale of the president, in my immature view of why Moi would pick Uhuru Kenyatta, I'm still a young child. I just look at his father and the continuation of dynasty.
It's easy to see politically. Moi thought Uhuru being a Kikuyu and the main opposition group being the Kikuyu and the Luhyas, but not the entire Luhya. Bungoma was predominantly opposition, and Luo was opposition. So he knew if he doesn't give Raila, he could see the discontent. But now he would have bagged the Kikuyu. And bringing Uhuru, who was a novice then, Moi would have been able to perpetuate his rule as a shadow behind Uhuru. So he was perpetuating his rule. And it would also have benefits, because in the next election, since his son was coming into politics, his son could also, I think he was looking beyond and seeing that after Uhuru could also be Gideon. So this is guesswork.
Yes, I know.
But those are what we thought. And our explanation to the people was that Moi is hiding himself with the face of this young man called Uhuru, thinking that through Kenyatta name, Moi can continue hiding with Uhuru's face and ruling. And people bought it. It's only Kiambu which elected Uhuru. He had a million votes, a bit of Kiambu and elsewhere.
But Uhuru didn't have any... I mean, let me first say, it paid off later on, he became president. But at this time, he had no political... He
was a novice, that's what I've said. A political novice. Completely.
Wow.
Yeah, so he got 1 million votes. And Kibaki got, I can't remember how many, but...
Under the Rainbow Coalition.
The distance was like day and night. And the vote for Kibaki was national, over 65%. And that vote came from all over Kenya.
Yes.
So it was Kenyans united against oppression, which again reminds me of the Gen Z, tribeless. That even in Moi's backyard, they were saying this time, change. Everybody wanted change. That's how the NARC revolution took place. It was a ballot revolution. For the first time, counting of ballots at polling stations was introduced. And therefore, manipulating the total vote the way they did in 1997 could not have been possible. Therefore, Kibaki won nicely.